Hello and welcome to the Catch a Lift Coaches Corner. I'm Cal Coach Melissa, and this week I'm honored to welcome U.S. Navy veteran Thomas Moore to the show. Thomas is a U.S. Navy veteran, Cal veteran athlete, BJJ competitor, and so very much more. Welcome to this week's episode of the Coaches Corner. Thomas, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So good to see you and have you on with us today. Let's jump right into it, Thomas. Would you tell us a little bit about your life growing up and what would ultimately drive you to join the U.S. Navy?
My life growing up, I feel like I was a simple guy. Grew up in Marshall, Texas. Wanted to be a NFL player like most. Wanted to be just love amongst everyone and popular. But, as life goes, you're like, well, maybe it is better athletes out here in football. So in the end, I wanted to actually join the Army, but my mom was like, no, I don't want you joining the Army, because I guess Army are more proactive with going to war, and my mom was definitely worried.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm definitely going to join the military because I want to serve my country because I graduated 2002, which was, a year after the 9/11 incident. So I was already motivated. So my mom basically was like, well, if you're going to do it anyway, please don't join the Army, not the Marine Corps, because, that was second in line.
Yeah.
So, I only had Navy and Air Force left. And I was like, well, I don't know if Air Force would have been, Air Force wasn't the first one for some odd reason. It was actually last on my list. So that was how I actually ended up joining the Navy.
Thomas, would you say, like you said, you graduated school there in 2002 and, like so many of us, like 9/11 had obviously a tremendous impact, not only on our country, the entire world, but especially kind of our age group of war fighters. Was that really kind of the driving catalyst that would really motivate you? Like, this is the path I'm going to join, I'm going to join the military.
Yes, definitely. Because it hit so many people close at home. And then I actually have family out there in New York. So it was like on my father's side, it definitely was like touching us close to home. And that was really, to me, the best thing I could do as far as trying to serve and show how I actually felt to support my country.
Incredible. Thank you so much for your service, Thomas. What MOS did you enlist as?
MOS, I enlisted as an air traffic controller. And it was actually pretty interesting because I looked at my other options, which was like a operational specialist and a bunch of other office jobs. And I was just like, seemed like everything's going to be paper pushing. So once I actually, because I didn't know what air traffic controller was at the time. Once I kind of researched it, I was like, that's actually pretty interesting. Like, that's intriguing. And that was the real reason why I chose it. Other than that, I would have probably been an admin something.
Would you kind of explain to us what it is, Thomas? What is the job of an air traffic controller?
Well, an air traffic controller, by definition, is a person who's preventing aircraft from crossing into each other's airspace or colliding. Basically, think of it like a traffic guide. I'm their GPS telling one to stay on one side of the road, one to stay on the other side of the road. And basically, I'm keeping them at different altitudes, so we don't have to worry about incidents you didn't probably seen on the news or seen online.
Right.
How monitors are ringing, and like you see the mask dropping in these commercial aircraft, because that's pretty much the protocol for the plane to automatically react to thinking a collision is going to happen or something along them lines. So that's
okay.
Yeah, a short synopsis.
Very cool. Thomas, what do you kind of remember most about your training as you were, training up as a young Navy corpsman?
I guess, let me think, a nice way to say it. The main thing I remember about my training is boot camp. The first day, I was like, WTF? Is this what it's going to be? Like, we don't get no sleep? Because I think the first day they kept us up to like 2 or 3 in the morning. Then they decided to wake us up 4:35. So I was just like, maybe it's going to be different than what I thought.
Yeah.
So that was my first day Vice. Once I finished boot camp and I was in A school, it was just hey, I guess it was welcome to the service. If you don't pass the school, we're gonna send you out undesignated. So it was one of those going from being a kid in high school and being able to just go by like high school is Vice. Oh, it's real life now.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly turns to that very fast in the military. Definitely. Thomas, how long would it be after you were in the Navy before you deployed to Afghanistan?
When I first joined October 15th, 2002, and I went to Afghan, it was summer of 2010. So it was like June. I think I left Fort Brigg going to Bagram.
Thomas, would you tell us a little bit about your time in Afghanistan?
The time in Afghanistan, it was actually pretty interesting because they have to dive in when you're coming in, and you don't expect that on a bigger aircraft. So that was my first I guess comeback landing. Yeah, so that was interesting because I'm not a roller coaster guy. But once we touched down, it was Army general. He gave a spiel that you usually hear in like movies and all that when they're trying to make it seem all interesting. And he said, basically, yeah, you could die here. And he said, all of you not going to get back on the plane. And then he said, so I want you to look at everyone to your left and your right. And you're going to have to cover each other's six. And that's trying to put it nicely because he said it a little different. But that was the start. Afghan, for the most part, I was doing detainee ops. But the few convoys I volunteered to go on, because I was like, since I was already out there, I might as well go ahead and do everything while I'm out here. And those were definitely eye-opening. Like, yeah, basically this is, I'm trying to think of a nice way to say it. It was just, it's like I guess how people play Call of Duty, because I don't play Call of Duty, but it's basically like a video game with no continue button. I guess that's the best way I can put it.
Thomas, what was your experience like, coming back from Afghanistan and, eventually transitioning out of the Navy?
My experience when I came back was actually, mine was pretty rough. So when I came back, I still was on 100 Vice. When you come back stateside, everybody's feeling like you're at Disney World. So everybody's all happy,
Right.
Everybody's feeling all cozy. Vice me, I'm coming back on 10, So my anxiety was sky high, paranoia was sky high. And yeah, so basically coming back was a challenge, and it was basically adjusting to being in a more peaceful place and not in a third world country in the Middle East. So that part took some adjusting and took time, and I'm still working on parts of that though to this day. So
Absolutely. It's I mean, definitely not to speak for you or other people, but for myself, like it's kind of come to that point where it's like a lifetime journey, right, of working through it and moving past this stuff. And it comes back and affects in, different ways at different points that you're not even, expecting. So yeah, I can definitely feel that. Thomas, what would drive you to go back to college at Gwinnett Tech after you returned home?
Well, I would say one of my main motivators is my wife, because she ended up going back to grad school, finishing that, and she was always saying, "You need to go back to school." Like, basically, I got tired of my wife saying it, because she was always like, "Well, when you gonna go back to school?" And I would always tell her, "Yeah, I'll go back."
Yeah.
I'm going back. So eventually, I just went ahead and started. And once I started and got the ball rolling, that was pretty much, I guess, the main thing I needed to do. Because prior to that, last time I went to school was 2006. So that was like 13 years ago, and then I was in Greece. Then I was single. Then it was no kids coming in while I'm trying to, work
Yeah.
online. With no wife, so I could pretty much move freely, and then it was on base. Of course, like I said, I was in Greece, so they brought the professors there, so it was
Oh, very cool.
definitely.
What were you studying at Gwinnett?
Yes, Gwinnett Tech. My major was cybersecurity.
What made you pursue that?
Well, I was looking at based off the jobs available nowadays, and then I was looking ahead at the future, and I was like, computers are everything. It's a matter of time. It's going to be everything around us, everything we touch, everything we're thinking about. You already have I can't think of the Apple voice, but you already have her telling you, hey,
Yeah, Siri, right?
Siri, are you gonna have your coffee today? Yeah, it's time for your lunch. It's time for you to take your medication and
Good
all that.
grief,
So,
yeah.
uh, that was the only option I really seen.
Thomas, you've recently accepted a position with the CDC working in cybersecurity. Congratulations on this. Absolutely incredible. What experiences, from your time in the Navy, your time overseas, do you think will be most useful for you going into this new position?
uh, well, I would say overseas, they were so huge on secrecy and not falling for any like phishing emails, not to fall for any fraud traps. Of course, when you're in town overseas, whether it was Greece, Italy, Kuwait, Dubai, anytime I was over in any of those countries, you got to be careful about, who you give access to your bank information and stuff like that. I would say that part as far as overseas prepared me. But I would say more while I was doing the air traffic control stuff, we had to do a lot of training. So it was like working on the PowerPoint points, the charts, the algorithms, all of that definitely is a part of IT and cybersecurity that I use to this day.
That's incredible. Congratulations again, Thomas. I want to kind of transition, switch gears here a little bit, and talk to you about your fitness. Thomas, how has fitness been a part of your life?
Fitness is next to my VA counselor and my wife is basically another tool of therapy.
Yeah.
Whether it's a stress reliever, which is the main thing, uh, it calms me down, like I say, because when I go to my gym and I'm by myself and I turn my music on, it's something it's like my health therapy. Basically, that's what keeps me in shape. That's what then helped me lose weight when I think the COVID weight they picked up to almost 240. Now I'm down to like 205 because, like I
Heck
said, I
yeah.
went back to the gym. At first, I stopped because of COVID for like 3-4 months, but then went back to the therapy that I needed.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Thomas, talk to us about BJJ. How did you get involved with jiu-jitsu?
uh, it was like it was something one of the other veterans I was talking to told me about, but I kind of winged it off. But we went to like some MMA UFC fight or something, and I was like, you know what? I wouldn't mind trying it. But the first time I tried it, since all I did prior to that was lift weights, I was actually kind of pissed off because you had you had cats who were like 135, and I'm coming in there like 205, who were kind of twisting me up like a pretzel. So that kind of had me pissed because I'm like, man, hell, I'm lifting all these weights for if this gonna happen. But then I wasn't just pissed because I got beat by a smaller person. It was more just like I thought I could outpower him no matter what he do, and that's what actually had me interested and made me want to actually learn more about the sport. But then it became beneficial, and that was when I actually stopped lifting weights. I stopped running every once in a while with the wife, and I went straight Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and that's part of, like I said, the fitness therapy that I need because that is definitely a stress reliever because I was definitely pissed off all the time, and and it helped me more with my mindset and all of that.
Very cool. Would you talk to us, Thomas, a little bit more about kind of the technical and mental side of BJJ?
Yes, the technical side, a lot of people like me who were prior athletes playing football, basketball, track, you're thinking, ah, I'm more athletic than this guy because the guy just took off his glasses and then, he just rode a scooter in. And you're thinking, all right, he was just telling me about playing EverQuest. And I'm just like, it's newer games out here, but then he's a savage when you run into him because it's technique. So that was why I said, all right, I learned it wasn't just about athletic ability. It wasn't just about, how many weights I lift. So that's what made me want to learn more of the technique because the technique actually benefits you no matter who you are. Handicapped people then came in there because it's like other veterans I done ran into from I forgot where they came from. I think it was Wisconsin, but now they're out here in Georgia. But they're doing stuff missing a shin, So I'm thinking I have an advantage because I have 4 limbs, 2 legs, 2
Right.
arms, but they're still pulling a chair. Basically, that's like when you're on all fours, they pull one piece and now you're off balance. So that's what we call pulling a chair. And like I said, that's just something else that it made me interested and want to get better at my technique. And the mindset, though, it took work on that because I was a prideful guy. And it basically humbles you, though. It lets you know you're not going to come in here just because you've been lifting weights or because you're a bigger guy or because you've done whatever you've done in your past, have your accolades. Me being a war veteran thinking, oh, I'm not afraid of crap, There ain't nothing that's going to scare me in here. But then now some of the guys who were, like I said, 135, I'm like, dang, I got to roll with this guy again. I got to go again. But it's stuff like that that definitely helped the mindset. It helped my temperament. Like I said, my temper was short. Yeah, so it definitely, like I said, humbled me and gave me a different mindset as far as certain things, like getting frustrated.
Thomas, how many days a week do you train jiu-jitsu now?
Now, after I finished this Worlds event, I didn't slow down because, like, I have a finger I think is still broke. So right now, yeah, because I was still going and I was taping it, but then like I said, the wife, I had to hear it every night. I slowed it down to 3 nights at least a week. At the least, I do 3, but once my finger back good, I was 6 days a week. Sometimes I go 7. Like I say, it's my therapy.
So kind of take us through what would a normal training week look like for you, like BJJ? Like, what are you doing in that week?
A normal week, I would go to my main gym, which is Team Mongoose, and then we'll basically start off with the drills. They try to simplify it, and then we'll go into technique because we're more, I would say, wrestling based. They were more like a wrestling based type school. So basically, we're doing a bunch of drills of throwing someone off balance, then taking them down, and then we'll take it from that next step. Probably the next 30 minutes, we'll be working on, like, once you get him down, another position to get around him to a possible submission or either just a position of control. And that, for the most part, it would be that the first 2 days probably. Then hump day is probably like a hell day where he has you do the worst of everything. You know what I'm saying? Nicely put, the worst. So that's when somebody probably sweating in your ear because we're all sweating so much, or sweating in your eyes, and that's burning like you've been maced or something. But that's basically where you're not sparring the whole day, but it damn near feel like it.
Yeah.
But Thursday and Friday, it's usually more, once again, technique driven, technique based, and working on your position control and then submission.
Thank you, Thomas. Talk to us a little bit about the competitions you've done since starting BJJ.
Since starting BJJ,
I've seen pictures with you with big championship belts. We've got the worlds. Like, tell us about all you've had going on.
I started off first some tournament. I didn't even know what it was. I was just like, yeah, I just want to do it because, I'm real competitive. It was a tournament called Kakudo, which is a Japanese kind of BJJ tournament where it's submission only. But see, I didn't know that. I'm thinking I could just win out. So I started off with that one. And since around that time, I think I was like 220. So I didn't know the weight classes was like 220 and above. So it's like me and some 300-pound guy. I'm just lucky
Jeez.
the guy got tired before I did. But basically, I started off just doing every local tournament I could do.
Nice.
I wasn't doing them just back to back to back. I was doing them once my coach was like, I don't know if you're ready for that one yet. Just wait,
Yeah.
'cause I'm trying to jump in. Throw me in, coach. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That probably wasn't the smartest thing because in the gym, he had threw me in with some professional UFC fighters, and boy, that was humbling. That was humbling when a little guy is holding me down and I'm tapping from pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I did, like I said, every local tournament. Kakudo was the first one I did. Then it was one called New Breed. And actually tried the expert level, which is with like the more professional guys. And that was when I actually won the first belt. I tried it in Charleston. I think it was like a year ago. That was the first time I tried like expert level. And that was when I won the first
And
belt.
you won that tournament? Oh my gosh.
I was elated. Well, nobody couldn't tell me nothing. So
what did that feel like?
it felt great when you win your first belt, but then that was basically like the local and regional type tournaments when I won that one. So that was when I started doing the IBJJF, which is the International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation.
Okay.
So that's kind of like the creme de la creme. So that was what made me say, okay, well, if I conquered that one, yeah, I was like, yeah, I basically want to conquer this one and possibly travel overseas with it because that's it doesn't get any bigger than that. So as I started traveling, doing like Charleston, doing where all ever went. But I done went pretty much everywhere. I just say I haven't been in Chicago, I haven't been in Texas. I haven't done California yet, but I done done all of them. And then I found out about the Worlds event, and that's when I said, hey, you know what? I'll try it. Why not? Because I was like, let me find out what my limit is, because I was starting to dominate people in those tournaments more in like the local areas. So when I tried Worlds, it was the hardest shit I ever done. Like it was no easy matches. Like everybody was probably more stocky. At least the ones I went to, or either they were heavier because I had ended up cutting down to like 202 pounds, not knowing I was so small because my scale, I guess, was a little off. It wasn't calibrated right. It was still saying I was like 207. So I'm thinking I could eat whatever because the max weight was like 215. And when I made it there, I was like steady losing weight. And oh man, it was intense. But I ended up getting second place in my division. And I think once you win in your division, they just put everyone together in like in one huge little group. So as we was competing there, I think I ended up getting fifth, or no, seventh, because you have to make at least fourth to medal. So I didn't place on that one, but it definitely was like I say, a great experience. Shit, that was probably the first time I showed emotion in a while, because before I did the last match against the fellow I lost to in the finals, I started damn near tearing up, and I was wondering like, what the hell is going on? And then I felt like I had to vomit, so I was like, man, what is going on? I wait to, but I don't know if that was all emotions or if or what it was, but yeah, I was definitely excited, but then I was still pissed because I didn't get first. Yeah, I remember talking to my coach about it. Yeah, but he was telling me, hey, just live in the moment. You got to enjoy it because it's like it's plenty of people who tried to come and didn't even qualify. So
exactly, that's absolutely incredible. Congratulations, Thomas. That's just oh my gosh. Would you talk to us a little bit about your mental preparation going into a contest?
Damn, how do I say it? all over the place. I guess you start getting anxiety. You're starting to sweat under your arms. You feel like you can't sleep because it's like I'm such a terrible loser. I'm not a sore loser, but I'll be moping about it the rest of the day. Like, damn. So in the end, I'm excited. I'm full of anxiety. Then I'm scared because it's like, damn, I don't want to lose. So
Yeah.
I'm afraid that I might possibly lose, but I'm mainly coming in there thinking it should be a cakewalk because I done did this, I done did that. So it's just so many, man, so many thoughts.
Thomas, what would you say to any veterans listening that have thought about BJJ, but they haven't taken that step? Or maybe they're new in BJJ, but, they're too nervous about competing and just, it feels like too much. What would you say to those men and women?
Well, the first thing I would say is reach out to catch a lift. First, you want to try to at least apply to get your equipment because that definitely, like I said, went a long ways because I wasn't running outside at the beginning. After Catch a Lift ended up giving me the elliptical, it definitely, like I said, helped because at the beginning I was just in the house because I ended up applying with you all before I even started BJJ. So that was kind of the getting my ball rolling tool, being on that elliptical, sweating in the garage because I didn't want to be outside with the crowds. I didn't want to do shit personally, trying to be frank. And doing that and that cowbell that you all gave me plus the mats, I was in there doing my crunchies, killing it on the elliptical. And then my wife eventually came out and started doing like the little cowbell drills. We was doing kind of like CrossFit drills we was making up. But that was where I
Awesome.
started. Hey, I'm just letting you know where it started. And
That
then
is
after
awesome.
that, like I said, I started kind of catching up with a buddy, another vet who served in the military with me, and that was when I decided, let me try this BJJ thing. And once I started it, like I said, it's been kind of like therapy. If you haven't seen other advertisements, it's like groups who out there advertising for vets to do BJJ because it helped a lot of combat vets. And
Right.
they were doing it actually when I was in Afghanistan. It's just when you outside the the green lines.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. When you're not on the base, you really don't get to see it. But I seen it there. I just didn't really partake. So it was just more me steady seeing it to where I just said,
Yeah.
you know what, let me try it. And it was very beneficial. Like I said, it's my physical therapy. It's my mental therapy because, like I said, it taught me how to be humble. It taught me how not to be so impatient, and then not to be always frustrated. But I would tell other vets, definitely try it. Don't let somebody smaller than you deter you. Yeah, because in the end, that's the part of learning a new art, learning something that's beneficial to you life wise. If you're in a street fight, you don't always have to whoop his ass. You could just simply lay on him and wait till the cops escort him or security escort him. It just teaches you how to defend yourself, how to be in control. But at the same time, like I say, it's mental therapy.
It's incredible. Thank you for explaining that to us, Thomas. What are your goals kind of going forward with the BJJ?
My goals going forward is continue to progress, get my brown belt, and then compete from time to time. I would say it's still, like I said, it's still gonna always be back there in the back burner because I don't really use the gym that we have now, even though I have all the equipment. I just strictly do BJJ, so it's gonna always be there, no matter what I do. But it's career right now that I'm gonna have to focus on.
I
Career
like
goals
it.
and continue to build. Yes.
Yeah. Very cool. And Thomas, you touched on it here a minute ago, the impact that Catch a Lift was able to have on you with the equipment and everything. When did you first learn about Catch a Lift or how did you find Kyle?
I first learned about Catch a Lift probably like 2000, I think 14, maybe the end of 13. But see, it was a fella I used to keep running into because I was going past Bodyplex because my wife used to always work at a gym called Bodyplex. And there's this one fella, I didn't even know he was a veteran. But one day we just happened to strike a conversation when I think I was stopping by because my wife was asking me to bring her something. And then when we struck a conversation, he said, well, yeah, your wife told me you're a vet. You ought to, and then he found out a comeback vet. He said, yeah, you ought to reach out to Catch a Lift. And I was like, what is Catch a Lift? I was like, are you talking about like catch a car or
Sure,
catch?
yeah.
But once he broke it down to me, about Catch a Lift, I was just like, that's actually interesting. It's beneficial to me, and it could definitely help me because, like I say, in the end, at that time, I was still trying to adjust to everything, and I couldn't afford to get any equipment at that moment because I really was trying to figure out what jobs it was available out here in Georgia. So Catch a Lift really came right on time. And then, like I said, I learned simply from crossing another comeback vet because he was a disabled vet, but he was always, like I said, he was at the gym pretty much every time I was either going there to drop off the wife or either just talking to the fellow at the front who was like, I think some powerlifting cat who just kept trying to be like, you need to come powerlift. Like, I swear he would stop me every time. So I would always end up running into a buddy. I can't even recall his name either. But I used to always run into him when we lived at our first home. Like, yeah, it's just crazy. And I eventually reached out. Everybody was very helpful, and then they kept me up to pace with like, all right, this is where you're located with your application. This is what we're waiting on. You're this far in line. Like they was calling like periodically, and yeah, that part's amazing. Like the service, A1.
Thomas, what would you say to any veterans out there too that, again, they haven't taken that step yet with Catch a Lift. They're still pretty isolated in their homes, dealing with mental and physical pain.
Yeah, what I would say is reach out to Catch a Lift and then apply. And then also you could do like my coach at the gym, become a donor. If you feel like you want to contribute to something like this that's very beneficial to veterans, like I said, it definitely benefited me. And at that time when I applied, I wasn't as stable as I am now. And like I say, they're a great program to assist you. And then, like I say, they could possibly always give you guidance with a coach. Like if you know you're not eating right, because a lot of people nowadays, the DoorDash has so many credits.
For real, right?
You have so many credits. You need to reach out to get some guidance on your nutrition because that stuff could kill us just as bad as the mental health. So
100%.
take it serious.
Thank you, Thomas. I have one last question for you here today. What does it mean to you to be a Catch a Lift Fund veteran athlete?
It mean a lot. Like I say, in a way, it changed my life. Like I said, because if I didn't have that equipment, I probably still would have been sitting on my ass at the house, binge watching a show because Netflix wasn't quite what Netflix is now, and so I'm just saying, seriously, like that was the motivator. Because if I didn't have an elliptical in that empty garage, because it was empty prior to putting the elliptical in there, like I said, the cowbell, the mats that I had, I couldn't tell you honestly. Like it's been very beneficial, and I'm honored to actually be a Catch a Lift vet now that I qualify. And yeah, I would tell everybody, give it a try.
Oh, Thomas, we're so very glad to have you a part of our Catch a Lift Fund family. Thank you so very much for your service to our great country. Thank you for coming on today and sharing your story and your light with us all. Absolutely terrific. That's it for this week's episode of Coach's Corner. We will return next Wednesday at 1 Eastern Time with another new episode. Thank you again, Thomas, for sharing your story and your light with us all today. Thank you to ID Technologies for your support of this podcast. A huge thank you to Henry Pomper, Lynn Coughlin, and Kaylee Nassiri for all of the work you do to make this podcast possible week after week. And we thank the entire Catch a Lift team. Don't forget to join us every Wednesday live at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube for a chance to win Cal Swag and to chat with your brothers and sisters. Until next week, keep it real and stay Cal strong.